So, Nury Martinez has decided to resign as of yesterday after political pressure was placed upon her and her office. Here's where I'm going to go with this in terms of my opinion. I believe Nury did it so that she can move on with her life, but also so that it can make room for one of her own people to take over her seat. It's a political move, in my opinion. But regardless, the Nury Martinez legacy in terms of her political career is soiled. And I'm happy about that. So let's get into this, shall we? Hey everyone, it's your girl. Hopefully you're having a good day. If you're in New York, carry your umbrella, guys, because it's supposed to rain starting around 4 p.m. up until around 8 this evening. So I just want to state that. So according to Yahoo News, it reads, Nury Martinez resigns her seat on Los Angeles City Council following release of racist comments. Nury Martinez, the former president of the Los Angeles City Council, who stepped down this week from that role after the publication of a 2021 recording that captured her making racist remarks, resigned from the council Wednesday. It is with a broken heart that I resign my seat for Council District 6, the community I grew up in and my home, Martinez wrote in a statement released Wednesday afternoon. On a leaked recording published Sunday by the Los Angeles Times, Martinez, a Latina, is heard referring to the black son of white Councilman Mike Bonin as a changuito, a Spanish term meaning little monkey, and telling council members Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon and Ron Herrera, president of the LA County Federation of Labor, all of whom are Latino, that he needs a beatdown. Just hours after the recording was published by the Times, Martinez swiftly issued an apology and resigned as president. But she resisted calls to step down from the council altogether, even as pressure swiftly mounted from all corners of the political world to force her out. Cedillo and De Leon, who were present during the conversation, have not indicated that they plan to give up their seats to the council. On Tuesday, President Biden let it be known that he hoped the council members would step down. He believes they should all resign, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, said. The language that was used and tolerated in that conversation was unacceptable, and it was appalling. Council meetings held Tuesday and Wednesday were disrupted by protesters who flooded the gallery and vented their anger about the revelations. What do we want? Investigations? When do we want it? Now. The crowd was heard chanting during a live feed of Wednesday's meeting. The raucous protests continued despite assurance by President pro tempore Mitch O'Farrell that Martinez, Cedillo, and De Leon would not be present at the meeting and were not in the chambers. Amid boos and jeers, the meeting was eventually adjourned, with O'Farrell announcing that all items on the agenda would be postponed until Friday. Of the leaked recording, Martinez also made disparaging comments about immigrants in Koreatown from Oaxaca in Mexico, calling them little short dark people. According to the audio, was the first reported by the Times. Oaxaca, okay. Martinez, who was elected to the council in 2013 and became president in January 2020, also described Bonin on the recording as a little bitch. Disparaged LA County District Attorney George Gascon. Fuck that guy, Martinez said of Gascon. He's with the blacks. By the way, he's Cuban. I just want to throw that out there. On Tuesday, Bonin spoke about the recording during the council meeting. I am reeling from the revelations from what these people said. Trusted servants who voice hate and bile, he said. Public officials are supposed to call us to our highest selves. And these people stabbed us and shot us and cut the spirit of Los Angeles. The secretly recorded 2021 meeting centered around the city redistricting efforts. The conversation remained private for a year until the Times published it Sunday, setting off a political earthquake. I do not believe we can have the healing that is necessary or govern as we need to. While council members Martinez, De Leon, and Cedillo remain as members of this council, O'Farrell said Tuesday, "I say those words with a heavy heart, but this is a heavy and a deeply tragic moment for the city. The controversy has engulfed the entire political world in Los Angeles. There needs to be an investigation, and those officials must resign, but that's not enough." Representative Karen Bass of California, who's a Democrat, and a candidate for mayor of Los Angeles said during Tuesday night's final debate, hosted by NBC Los Angeles, "We need a new direction in LA and new leadership. Council members need to be free of corruption. I mean that in like the basic minimum standard. You wouldn't accept it in any other industry, then maybe in politics." Businessman Rick Caruso, Bass's only mayoral opponent, said at Tuesday's debate. Before the scandal, Martinez had endorsed Bass, who should be elected would become the city's first black woman mayor. For his part, De Leon on Sunday characterized his comments as wholly inappropriate and said he regretted appearing to condone and even contribute to certain insensitive comments made about a colleague and his family in private. The Times reached out to Cedillo on Saturday night for comment before publishing audio of the conversation. "I don't have a recollection of this conversation," he told the newspaper. Herrera resigned Monday night as head of the Labor Federation. He also apologized, saying there was no justification and no excuse for the vile remarks made in that room, and I didn't step up to stop them, and I will have to bear the burden of that cross moving forward, he added. The three black members of the council, Curran Price, Heather Hutt, and Marquise Harris Dawson, released a joint statement responding to the tape, calling it a very dark day in LA politics for African Americans, the LGBTQ plus community, indigenous people, and Angelenos who have put their faith and trust in their local government. Yeah, that was a long read. But here's the thing. The root of the problem is that many people who are not white, okay, but are not black, have anti-black sentiments, okay? And what occurred is that these people who happen to be Latinos, they were very comfortable in having these conversations about black people, about Hispanics who were with black people and supporting them, LGBTQ people, the Oaxacan Mexicans, little black children, calling them monkeys. And all of this, which they don't tell you in the article, has to do with them protecting their power and cutting back the resources for the blacks within their district, who live within their district. So Cedillo, De Leon, and Martinez, who is no longer, who's out, she resigned. Cedillo is not going to be there because he lost the election. Only De Leon is going to still be in the council because he must have won. They were trying to undercut their black constituents, okay? So they were trying to shift the resources to those of their community, i.e. the Latino community, and leave the blacks without such resources, which is usually money, different, benefit services, things of that nature. Within the context of that, this is when you hear about Mike Bonin, George Gascon, the little boy who was the son of Mike Bonin, the monkey, the accessory Louis Vuitton bag, the Oaxacan Mexicans, Koreatown. They even did speak disparagingly about Jewish people in that conversation. Now, what I find interesting is that the president of the LA County Federation of Labor was in that conversation. Now, this is a man who represents labor. You telling me that you are not in the council, but you happen to be in part of this conversation. What are you trying to do? You were trying to cut back jobs for black people And I believe it as such. And I'm going to tell you why. A lot of black people who live out of California call on various public affairs shows that air on YouTube. And they say they have a hard time getting jobs. It makes you really wonder if, since this man has been the LA Federation of Labor president, how many black people didn't get jobs? And how many of his people got jobs? Now, there's a lawsuit going on right now that's federal that involves black people suing Latino managers because many of them were calling them racist names, such as monkeys, the N-word, and the other ones who didn't do it, they just stood by and let it happen. That is scary because what it tells me is that it makes sense now why black men, particularly, were having a hard time getting a job working in California, getting government jobs, just being able to make money peacefully. It makes sense now. It makes sense. It makes sense now. But as for Nury Martinez, she's done. She hasn't made any strides to basically apologize. She didn't apologize to black people in her resignation speech. She apologized to the council. She apologized to her peaceful people, but she did not apologize to black people or any other group, only her own. So, with that being said, 2 middle fingers in the air to Nury Martinez. No F's given. No loss of motion. And with that being said, toodles to the little bitch. And I'm signing off. Take care and have a good one.